Jon Moxley just spat in the face of every AEW fan who supported him through his darkest moments by betraying everything he claimed to represent, and what he's done will make you absolutely furious about how he's destroyed the trust of an entire wrestling community that believed in his authenticity. The man who positioned himself as the anti-corporate champion of wrestling integrity has revealed himself to be the biggest hypocrite in professional wrestling history, selling out every principle he preached while fans supported him unconditionally through addiction struggles, personal demons, and career rebuilding. Right now, AEW fans are having complete meltdowns on social media because the wrestler they thought represented authentic passion and genuine love for the business has exposed himself as nothing more than a manipulative fraud who used their emotional investment to build a career he's now abandoning for corporate benefits. Jon Moxley didn't just turn heel, he turned his back on the entire foundation of what AEW was supposed to represent, proving that his anti-WWE rhetoric was nothing but lies designed to manipulate fans who genuinely believed he cared about wrestling integrity over corporate politics. But here's what makes Moxley's betrayal absolutely sickening: he's not just abandoning AEW after fans supported him through rehab and personal struggles. The leaked footage shows him actively working against everything that made AEW special, deliberately destroying the company culture that gave him a platform when nobody else would. The backstage audio that's been suppressed by AEW management shows Moxley systematically poisoning the locker room against Tony Khan and the independent wrestling philosophy that built the company. He's been recruiting wrestlers to join his campaign of corporate sabotage from within. Tony Khan is a mark with daddy's money, Moxley tells other wrestlers in leaked recordings. This whole wrestler-friendly company is just a fantasy. We need to make this place more corporate, more structured, more like the real wrestling business. More like the real wrestling business. The man who spent years criticizing WWE's corporate structure is now trying to transform AEW into the exact type of company he claimed to despise. His systematic campaign to destroy AEW's wrestler-friendly culture represents the ultimate betrayal of fans who supported his anti-corporate message and believed he genuinely cared about creating an alternative to sports entertainment. Every fan who cheered when Moxley criticized WWE's creative control and corporate politics was being manipulated by someone who apparently always planned to recreate those same systems once he gained enough influence. The leaked conversation between Moxley and potential WWE contacts shows him badmouthing AEW's creative freedom and independent wrestling philosophy to corporate executives who view those concepts as threats to industry control. The inmates are running the asylum over here, Moxley apparently told WWE representatives. These guys think wrestling should be about artistic expression instead of business discipline. Someone needs to bring corporate structure to this chaos. Corporate structure. The man who built his AEW career on rejecting corporate control is now advocating for the exact systems that he claimed destroyed his creative passion during his WWE tenure. The hypocrisy is absolutely staggering when you remember that Moxley's entire AEW identity was built on escaping corporate restrictions and finding authentic creative expression. But the leaked documents show that his criticism of WWE was never about creative freedom, it was about not being positioned as the top corporate favorite in their system. He didn't want to escape corporate wrestling, he wanted to be the corporate wrestling system with himself at the center. The fans who supported Moxley's authentic passion were supporting someone whose only authentic passion was for personal power and corporate control. Meanwhile, the AEW locker room has reportedly split into factions based on Moxley's recruiting efforts. Multiple wrestlers have apparently chosen sides in what's becoming an internal war between corporate structure advocates and independent wrestling purists. The leaked text messages between AEW wrestlers show the devastating impact of Moxley's betrayal on company morale. "I can't believe Jon turned out to be everything he said he hated," one wrestler writes. "How do we trust anyone after this?" Trust. Moxley's betrayal has destroyed the family atmosphere that made AEW special because wrestlers no longer know who genuinely supports the company culture versus who might be working to undermine it from within. The paranoia and suspicion that Moxley's sabotage campaign has created will damage AEW's collaborative environment for years to come. He's poisoned the well of trust that took years to build. But here's what makes his betrayal even more disgusting: the leaked footage shows Moxley specifically targeting wrestlers who were most loyal to AEW's original vision. He's systematically recruiting people to betray the company that gave them opportunities. Young wrestlers who came to AEW because they believed in creative freedom are being told by their supposed mentor that those values are naive and that corporate success requires abandoning independent wrestling principles. "You guys need to grow up and understand the business," Moxley tells younger talent in leaked audio. "This artistic wrestling stuff doesn't pay the bills. You want real success? You need corporate backing and structured booking." He's literally corrupting the next generation of wrestlers with the same corporate mentality that fans thought he rejected. His influence is spreading like a poison through AEW's developmental talent. The young wrestlers who looked up to Moxley as an example of authentic passion are learning that their hero was actually teaching them to become corporate sellouts disguised as independent artists. Meanwhile, Tony Khan's response to Moxley's betrayal has been a masterclass in denial and corporate damage control. The leaked emails show Khan desperately trying to minimize the situation while Moxley continues his systematic sabotage campaign. Jon is just going through a difficult creative period, Khan apparently told concerned wrestlers. His feedback about structure and organization comes from a place of caring about the company's success. Caring about success. Khan is so desperate to maintain his roster that he's making excuses for someone who's actively working to destroy everything AEW was built on. The willingness to tolerate sabotage rather than confront betrayal shows that Khan values star power over company principles. He's prioritizing keeping Moxley over protecting AEW's foundational values. But the leaked recordings show that Moxley views Khan's accommodation as weakness that proves his point about AEW needing stronger corporate leadership. Tony won't even stand up to me when I'm openly criticizing his management, Moxley tells other wrestlers. This company needs someone with real authority who isn't afraid to make hard decisions. He's using Khan's loyalty and trust against him to prove that AEW's collaborative leadership style is fundamentally flawed. The betrayal extends to manipulating Khan's good nature for corporate political purposes. The psychological manipulation of using someone's kindness to justify overthrowing them shows the depths of Moxley's corporate sociopathy. Meanwhile, AEW fans are experiencing collective trauma as they watch their hero systematically destroy everything they thought he represented. Social media is flooded with heartbroken responses from people who feel personally betrayed. I defended Jon Moxley for years, one fan writes. I argued with WWE fans about his authenticity and passion. Now I find out he was playing us the whole time. I feel like an idiot for believing in him. The personal pain in fan reaction shows how deeply Moxley's betrayal cuts. These aren't just disappointed customers, they're people who invested emotional energy in supporting someone they thought shared their values. Moxley didn't just betray a wrestling company, he betrayed a community of fans who genuinely believed in his message about wrestling integrity and authentic passion. The leaked fan forum discussions show people questioning their ability to trust any wrestler's stated values after being so thoroughly deceived by someone they considered authentic. If Jon Moxley was fake all along, how do we know who's real, fans are asking. Maybe all wrestlers are just playing characters designed to manipulate our emotions for money. The existential crisis that Moxley's betrayal has created extends beyond just AEW to fans' fundamental trust in professional wrestling authenticity. He's damaged the entire concept of genuine wrestler-fan connections. But perhaps the most devastating aspect of Moxley's betrayal is how he's used fan support during his addiction recovery as leverage for corporate political maneuvering. The leaked audio shows him explicitly referencing fan loyalty as proof of his influence. Look how the fans supported me through rehab, Moxley tells potential corporate allies. That kind of loyalty is valuable in the wrestling business. People who can generate that emotional investment are worth protecting and promoting. He's treating fan support during his darkest moments as a commodity that proves his corporate value. The emotional investment that fans made in his recovery is being used as evidence of his marketability. The exploitation of genuine fan concern for his well-being shows that Moxley views supporter loyalty as a business asset rather than authentic human connection. Every fan who worried about his health, celebrated his sobriety, and supported his comeback was being evaluated for their commercial value rather than appreciated for their humanity. The leaked conversation with his agent shows Moxley planning to leverage fan loyalty for contract negotiations and corporate positioning. The fans will follow me wherever I go, he apparently stated. That makes me valuable to any company that wants my audience. Fan loyalty as a bargaining chip. He's prepared to sell the emotional investment of people who genuinely cared about his well-being to whatever corporate entity offers the best deal. The people who supported him through addiction and personal struggles are being treated as transferable assets in corporate negotiations. This level of manipulation and exploitation of fan trust represents a new low in professional wrestling's already cynical relationship between performers and audiences. Meanwhile, the systematic destruction of AEW's culture continues as Moxley recruits more wrestlers to his corporate restructuring campaign. The leaked meeting notes show detailed plans for transforming AEW into a traditional wrestling corporation. We need hierarchy, we need creative control, we need corporate discipline, Moxley apparently told recruited allies. This collaborative stuff is holding back everyone's potential earnings and career advancement. The transformation agenda would eliminate everything that made AEW different from WWE. Moxley is essentially trying to recreate the corporate system that he publicly criticized for years. The wrestlers who joined AEW specifically to escape corporate creative control are being told that their values are obstacles to success. Moxley is systematically convincing them to abandon the principles that brought them to the company. But here's what makes his betrayal strategy even more insidious: he's using AEW's own success as evidence that corporate changes are necessary. He argues that the company's growth requires abandoning the values that created that growth. AEW proved that alternative wrestling can work, Moxley reportedly argues. Now we need to evolve beyond the alternative phase into a legitimate corporate structure that can compete with established companies. The logical contradiction of arguing that success proves the need to abandon successful strategies shows the sophistication of Moxley's manipulation. He's using achievement to justify destroying the foundation of that achievement. The wrestlers who created AEW's success through collaborative creativity are being told that their methods are now obstacles to future success. Moxley is rewriting history to serve his corporate agenda. The leaked financial analysis that Moxley apparently commissioned shows projections for increased revenue under corporate restructuring. He's using potential money as justification for abandoning wrestling integrity. We could double our revenue with proper corporate structure and creative control, the analysis supposedly concludes. The current system leaves money on the table for the sake of artistic principles. Money on the table. Moxley is reducing AEW's creative freedom and wrestler-friendly culture to lost revenue that corporate discipline could capture. The man who once criticized WWE for prioritizing profits over passion is now arguing that AEW should prioritize profits over passion. The complete reversal of his stated values is staggering, but the financial projections apparently don't account for the long-term damage that corporate changes might cause to AEW's brand identity and fan loyalty. Moxley's focus on short-term revenue ignores the foundational elements that create lasting success. Meanwhile, veteran wrestlers who helped build AEW's reputation are reportedly considering leaving the company rather than watch it transform into another corporate wrestling entity. The leaked exit interviews show established talent expressing disappointment and betrayal over the direction that Moxley's influence is taking the company. "I came to AEW to escape corporate wrestling politics," one veteran apparently stated. If Jon Moxley succeeds in turning this place into WWE Light, there's no point in staying. The whole reason for AEW existing disappears. The potential exodus of founding talent would represent the ultimate victory for Moxley's corporate transformation agenda. He's systematically driving out the wrestlers who embody AEW's original values. But the departure of respected veterans would also eliminate much of the credibility and authenticity that attracted fans to AEW in the first place. Moxley's strategy could destroy the very elements that made AEW valuable while claiming to increase that value through corporate restructuring. The leaked fan survey data shows that AEW's audience specifically values the company's collaborative culture and creative freedom. The elements that Moxley wants to eliminate are exactly what fans consider most important. Yet he continues arguing that corporate changes are necessary to serve fans better, despite evidence that fans prefer AEW's current approach to corporate wrestling alternatives. The disconnect between Moxley's corporate agenda and fan preferences proves that his betrayal serves his personal interests rather than audience satisfaction. He's willing to destroy what fans love about AEW to create what he personally prefers, regardless of customer desires or company success. But perhaps the most shocking revelation about Moxley's betrayal is the leaked timeline showing that his corporate transformation campaign began immediately after signing his AEW contract. His anti-corporate rhetoric was apparently always a facade. The planning documents show systematic recruitment efforts and influence campaigns that started within months of his AEW debut. He was working to undermine the company's culture while publicly celebrating its values. Every promo where Moxley praised AEW's creative freedom was apparently delivered by someone who was already planning to eliminate that freedom. His entire AEW persona was based on lies. The fans who believed in his authenticity were being manipulated by someone whose real agenda was always corporate control and personal power advancement. The leaked audio from his early AEW meeting shows Moxley already expressing skepticism about collaborative decision-making and wrestler-friendly policies. "This place is too soft," he apparently told Confidence. "Someone needs to bring real business discipline." Real business discipline. He viewed AEW's respectful treatment of talent as weakness that needed correction rather than strength that should be preserved. The mindset that treats wrestler-friendly policies as business problems shows that Moxley never understood or valued what made AEW special to fans and performers. His corporate background apparently trained him to view collaborative creativity as inefficient rather than innovative, and he's been working to correct the perceived problem since day one. Meanwhile, the psychological impact of Moxley's betrayal on AEW's younger wrestlers has been devastating according to leaked counseling session notes. Multiple performers are questioning their career choices and personal values. "I came to AEW because Jon Moxley proved you could be successful without selling out," one young wrestler apparently told a counselor. "Now I find out he was the biggest sellout of all. Maybe there's no such thing as authentic wrestling success." The disillusionment extends beyond just disappointment in Moxley to fundamental questions about whether wrestling integrity can coexist with career advancement. Young wrestlers who viewed Moxley as proof that authentic passion could succeed are now wondering if corporate manipulation is the only path to success. The mentorship and inspiration that these performers thought they were receiving was actually indoctrination in corporate political tactics disguised as authentic wrestling wisdom. But the leaked recordings show that Moxley views the younger wrestlers' disillusionment as necessary education in business reality rather than betrayal of their trust. "They need to learn that this is a business first and an art form second," he reportedly told recruiting allies. "The sooner they understand corporate realities, the better their careers will be." He's treating the destruction of their idealism as beneficial career development rather than recognizing the psychological damage his betrayal has caused. The callous dismissal of young wrestlers' pain shows that Moxley's corporate transformation includes abandoning empathy and genuine concern for colleague well-being. Meanwhile, the broader wrestling community's reaction to Moxley's betrayal has exposed deep divisions about corporate versus independent wrestling values. The leaked social media analytics show unprecedented engagement levels driven by anger and disappointment. Wrestling fans across all promotions are debating whether Moxley's actions prove that all wrestlers are ultimately motivated by corporate advancement rather than artistic passion. The existential questions that his betrayal has raised extend far beyond AEW to fundamental assumptions about wrestler motivation and authenticity throughout the industry. Multiple wrestling podcasts and media outlets are reportedly planning exposé episodes about the broader implications of Moxley's systematic deception and corporate manipulation. But AEW management's continued tolerance of Moxley's sabotage campaigns suggests that corporate considerations might already be overriding the company's founding values. The willingness to accommodate someone who's actively working against company culture shows that AEW might already be further along in corporate transformation than fans realize. Moxley's success in avoiding consequences for his betrayal could encourage other wrestlers to abandon AEW's collaborative values in favor of